Thank you for tuning in to the Shakaama Live Show with your host, Shakaama. Remember to like the video, share the video, right? Okay. And please donate to keep the channel going. YouTube has announced a new policy where they're going to be censoring videos. Censoring. I mean, straight up, flat out censoring. Like, you'll make a video, you'll put it up, and they'll quash it, right? They'll just put it down in the thing. So, without your support, that's money. Support means money. The channel probably will be dead within a month. So that's patreon.com/Shakaama. I want to talk about Lavar Ball, but he's in the news now. But I wanted to go back to a couple of months ago when he was talking about UCLA's loss on the NCAA tournament. So he said, "Do you have to eat right now?" My dog won't eat unless I'm hovering right over him. So if I go into the room, if I go into the bathroom, if I go into the kitchen, he won't eat. But if I stand here, he'll eat. What is that about? Is that I don't know. I don't know dogs. It's my first dog. What? Okay, so he said, realistically, you can't win no championship with 3 white guys because the foot speed is too slow. Okay, that's okay. So various outlets have dealt with this comment, and they say, "Oh, it's racist. This is racist." Before we get there, there's an actual documentary talking about white guys not playing in the. I'm sorry, white American guys not playing in the NBA. And then they made the distinction, white American. And then they said, why is it that over the past 10 years, the black players in the NBA have actually remained a constant 78%. Approximately 78%. Constant. No change whatsoever. Higher or lower, no change. But of the rest of them, which are white players, the white Americans started out at 18%, and the foreign white guys were at 9%. And then over the course of the last 10 years, they switched places, so it's 9% white American, 18% white foreign-born players. So, and they say, okay, why is that? They said, well, now we're moving into, at the NBA level, the speed, athleticism, and general skill of the player is upped by 1,000 from college to NBA, right? And they simply said white Americans don't have it. Okay, why don't white Americans have it? And what is it that white foreign-born players have? Well, white foreign-born players practice in the morning on skills and in the afternoon on athleticism. On team sports, I'm sorry. So what in the morning on skills and athleticism, in the afternoon on team building. Okay, why don't white Americans do that? Because the NCAA has rules that limit the amount of time that you can actually practice. Why this isn't not applying to black players? Generally because black players who are in the NBA generally grew up playing basketball on a daily basis. Because it's much simpler. Grab a ball and 20 Negroes can play. And I'm being funny, but that's exactly what a couple of experts said. You know, this is why black people don't play golf. They don't play tennis. You have to have a tennis court. They build basketball courts all over the place, and nobody says, the population seems to be happy with it. So let's go back to LeVar Ball. Realistically, you can't win no championship with 3 white guys because the foot speed is too slow. Another thing that they said was, And they highlighted one of the guys who did not make it into the draft. And they said, why didn't he make it into the draft? Athleticism and speed. Athleticism and speed. The white guys simply don't have it. And the black guys have it in droves. Let's go to a different source where a Asian guy was saying that he worked in the U.S. prison system and he trained hundreds, thousands of black guys, thousands of guys. And of those, he would see that the black bodybuilder or whatever, the body itself responded so much more drastically than the white or Hispanic or the Hispanic is not a race, than the white or the Asian guys or whatever. It's versus the black guys. They said they were leaner, stronger, faster, put on more muscle mass, much more quickly. So let's get back to LeVar Ball. Now, I want to point another source. One of these little Ivy League schools, one of these little, not Ivy League college, and one of these Ivy League prep schools. The coach says, we need to get some black players on the football team. Football? No, basketball. We need to get some black players on the basketball team. We are getting stomped. Now, all of the white people and the news people went up in arms. Oh my God, how can you say this? Oh my God, how can you say this? And he's like, it's common sense. It's common sense. And I want to say, perception is reality. Do you understand? Perception is reality. Anytime I say something about black people or black, and I reviewed some other channels that talk about black stuff, and they're dealing with perception. I don't find them to be educated in any sort of sociology or anything like that, or politics or anything like that. They're going about perception. Perception is reality. Have you seen the show where they blindfold a guy and they talk the guy through that they're going to stick a poker in the fire? They show him that they're sticking a poker in the fire, then blindfold him, then pulled out a different poker and touched that poker to him, and sure enough, he has first-degree burns on his arm. Perception is reality. The perception is, for everybody included, is that white guys are slow. White guys are not as athletic as black guys. White guys are not team players. They're not as smart on the basketball court. And up until, I believe, what was it, in the Super Bowl, it was the first black quarterback. Up until that point, there was a perception that black guys could not be quarterbacks because IQ, whatever, all sorts of weird stuff. I mean, of course, we're forgetting the whole point that these running backs and all these people who are making MVP in the game are basically calling their own shots, and they're making plays. Clearly, they're smart enough to be quarterback. Clearly. But that was a perception. What was his name? Ron Williams? Redskins, Super Bowl, first black quarterback. Okay. And from then on, we've been adding black quarterbacks so that in football, blacks are slowly gaining ground as far as being a super majority. Now, of course, everybody's jumping to racism. He's being racist. This is a racist statement. This is not a racist statement. First of all, please, racism, the word racist means that you have a group that imposes its will on another group to stop the other group from doing something. Saying that you lost the game because white people are not, there was too many white people on the team, which took the spots of black people who are more athletic, faster, more team players, is not racism. This is simply, at my point, a fan being a fan of the game and questioning how they lost, right? That's what people do when they lose. They question, how did I lose? Hillary Clinton, how did I lose? Why am I not ahead in the polls, you might ask? This is what happens when people lose. They say stuff that they think is completely reasonable, and the perception is that white guys are not good basketball players. Now, let's not even talk about LeVar Ball. Let's talk about coaches in the NBA. Let's talk about owners in the NBA. Let's talk about former presidents of the NBA. Name me a superstar MVP white American player. They posed that question to a few coaches, some of the recruiters, some of the former presidents, some of the former NBA stars, and they said, is this a trick question? Is this one of those gotcha questions? Because I don't know. I don't know, not a one. I can't name one. There, you, in the comments, name me one. No, you can't? What's a perception? It goes along with the perception that white players are not fast enough. They're not athletic enough at the NBA level. I'm not talking about your local pickup game. I'm not talking about you playing at the YMCA. I'm talking about the NBA level. The perception is that white guys just aren't fast enough, aren't athletic enough, aren't team players. They don't have the skills. They don't have the inside stuff. And then they were comparing Larry Bird to some of his contemporaries. And so, well, Larry Bird was just doing anything to get it into the basket. The other players were playing the game. Skills, teamwork, blah, 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 right? Larry Bird, star. Other players, team. Team. You couldn't beat the Lakers, right? Even with Larry Bird against them. So please stop using the word racist. Please stop using that. The only time you should use the word racist is if we're talking about a governmental body. Governmental body. An entire sector of industry. If that's the case, is the National Hockey League, are they racist? Is the pro golf tournament racist? I'm not talking about the clubs who don't allow black people. I'm talking about the actual golf association. As much as Tiger Woods was invited to play at the white-only golf clubs, they made an exception for him. The PGA itself was not racist. They allowed him to play anywhere he wanted to. Is the PGA racist? No. Is the NHL racist? No. Is the NBA racist for having so many black people? No. Do you have the speed? Do you have the athleticism? Are you a team player? Do you have the stats? That's it. And what can a 5'8" white guy do other than shoot 3 points against a guy who's 6'5"? What can he do? You tell me in the comments, what can he do? Thank you for watching Shakaama Live Show. Be sure to thumbs up the video.